Hi guys, welcome to my videos that will help you grow in your chess game. This is a game taken from the match between Spassky and Fischer in 1972. This is game 5. Game 1, Spassky won. Game 2, Fischer did not show up, so Spassky won by Fischer forfeiting the match. That's like 2-0 after 2 games. Then on game 3, Fischer won, having 1 point. Game 4 was a tie after a long number of moves. This game 5 is fascinating, very amazing game. So there are a lot to learn from this game. Let's dive right into it. In this particular game, Bobby Fischer is playing the black pieces. Boris Spassky is attacking with the white pieces. Boris chose to start with pawn to d4, knight to f6, c4, e6, knight to c3, bishop to b4. After knight to f3, c5 by Fischer, trying to strike in the center immediately. e3 comes up with a way to reinforce the defense in the center. So if pawn takes, and the game is fine. So after this e3, Fischer went for knight to c6, bishop to d3. This bishop to d3 idea is very important for beginners to understand. Let me show you a line here. I have actually seen most players play this move instead. Then you give room for this, reinforcing pressure on this pin piece and adding more attacker. What I see most beginners do, they easily just castle from here, ignoring that there is a threat now on this square on c3. That is, look at this variation. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes, gaining a pawn just by you not observing that particular c3 square. So with this variation Fischer played against Spassky, Spassky decided to play bishop to d3 instead. So modifying that variation gives you bishop to d3, which disabled this ability for the knight to come down over to e4 now. So the game continued after bishop takes, pawn takes. Now we have pawn push to d6. Pawn push, we have e5. Now Spassky extended a pawn further to d5, attacking the knight. Knight to e7, we have knight moving over to h4. Here, pawn push to h6. Pawn push to f4, trying to disconnect these 3 strong center pawns. Yeah, knight to g6 instead. In this position, Spassky saw a reason to take advantage of this move. I'm not seeing this move as a great move because it creates a double pawn in Fischer's camp after this variation. That's exactly what was played in the game. So pawn takes on e5, pawn takes on e5. Now we have bishop to d3. A very simple understanding move, activating a bishop and targeting an undefended pawn. What do? You can defend with the queen, but Fischer chose to defend with the pawn on b6, keeping this chain nice and connected. Spassky castled, Fischer also castles too. Now we have a4, a5, stopping the advancement of this pawn to any other further location. Then now creating a nice pyramid around that queen side. Rook to b1, trying to go after this pawn with an idea with queen to b3. Here we have bishop to d7. So rook to b2, rook to b8, adding one more defender to this pawn. So queen defends, rook defends. The idea behind the rook to b2 is not only to attack this pawn, it's also to bring the rook to support the second rook and take dominance of the f file. Now, after the rook moved to f2, supporting this second rook, what do you notice? This f file has been completely dominated by Spassky. In this position, queen to e7 comes up so that the 2 rooks can be connected. Queen also supports in any action that will happen on this f8 square in case the knight moves. Bishop to c2, defending this pawn further and creating room for queen to come over to this square. You know, a lot of things can happen. This diagonal can clear up and there can be a sort of meeting idea. These are things I've seen. So the idea I'm sharing with you are ideas I've practiced in my game and I've witnessed in other people's games. g5 comes up. You see, after g5, we have bishop to d2. Just simple clearing moves. Queen to e8, bishop to e1, trying to remaneuver the bishops and find good squares for them. While doing this, Spassky is actually losing tempo. He needs to act fast, where Fischer is already acting faster than him. Fischer has two pieces attacking this pawn. Anything that makes Spassky remove the queen, this pawn is gone. Then the knight is also here too. Anything that makes Spassky remove this bishop here from this square, this pawn is gone. These are practical examples of positional play, keeping your pieces in the right position and waiting for the right time to strike. Queen to g6 happens. In this case, the knight and the queen form forces or form alliances and gang up against this pawn. What do? You have to increase defender too on the pawn since the attackers have increased. The only defender now is this bishop here on c2. So Spassky chose to use the idea queen to d3. Now Fischer played knight to h5. Naturally, the knight is not doing big work here anymore. So the knight belongs to a square like this, coming to harass the queen. Here, rook takes on f8 check, rook takes, king takes. After bishop to d1, going after the knight goes to f4, attacking the queen. So queen to c2 for safety. We have a brilliant move. I don't know what engine will call this, but to me, this is beyond my comprehension. Now, when I saw it, I was actually shocked. Fischer played a move that even shocked Spassky itself. Spassky saw this and resigned. Did you know the move? Feel free to pause the video and try to figure out the move that Fischer played that made Boris Spassky resign game 5 in just move 27. Fischer played a brilliant bishop takes the pawn on e4. And in this position, it's either Spassky loses material or he gets checkmated after his responses. So he resigned. After this game on game 5, Fischer equalized in score. The score before was around 2.5 for Boris Spassky and 1.5. Now with this win on game 5, Fischer equalizes to have 2.5 against Boris Spassky 2.5. So let's see some common responses here. Let's try with the very first one. Let's say a beginner just played this. Let not just say a beginner. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. So with my years of experience, I know that this game belongs to no particular race or any kind of person with actual strength or wisdom. So let's say, for example, this move happens. Queen takes pawn, threatening checkmate in 1 and also attacking this bishop. This is a double attack move. So if some players would see this and defend, yes, the defense here cannot stop anything. See this position here. If you defend with bishop, queen takes, the bishop is made. If you defend, let's say you defend with the queen, trying to go for queen defends the back rank and offering queen exchange. Queen takes bishop is still mate. So taking it a move back to this position, let's not go with queen takes bishop option. Let's go with queen coming over to d2 so that the queen can still defend the bishop in case bishop takes bishop. So queen takes the bishop back, queen takes the pawn. Now a new situation. The queen attacks the pawn, threatening checkmate in 1. And secondly, if the queen moves away from this square to somewhere like this, there will be queen takes bishop and that is mate. So in this position, let's assume white will find d2, which is defending this pawn and also defending the bishop. Black can still go ahead to grab materials by knight takes pawn. The queen cannot take because of queen takes bishop. Queen would block. This happens, then we have pawn push. I believe you have enjoyed this video to this moment and you have learned one or two things. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you've just watched, subscribe to the channel for more, like this video and share to your friends. See you in more videos like this on this channel. Stay tuned.